I'll let everybody, our esteemed guests, introduce themselves. But down on that end is my co-D, my cohort, my dog, Chief Johnson.
It's the word.
What's happening?
It's the word, baby. We here.
We here, baby.
Sunset, Los Angeles.
LA, Super Bowl week.
With
You know what I'm saying?
two amazing humans, two amazing creatives. I can't say enough great things about these gentlemen. I want them to introduce themselves, and we gonna dive in. It's gonna be a great day.
I appreciate that, man. You built it up real nice. Two amazing gentlemen, I'm Saba. I'm an artist from the west side of Chicago. I feel like self-introductions, that's what it is. I'm Saba and I'm an artist from the west side of Chicago. It's hard for me to build myself up.
Like, good. We're
gonna build you up though today.
We're gonna give you some more flowers. So
hey, you know what I'm saying? We're great. We're great.
I'll introduce Saba from South Side of Chicago. Incredible musician, artist of all mediums. Now you gotta do mine.
I'm here with the legend, because listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I was with my homie, who he had never met you. When we got in the car together to leave, it was one of his events. He was like, "Yo, I swear I used to see him on a show."
Yeah.
And that was amazing to me. I'm like, yeah, that is him. And he's been on his grind for as long as we have. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very mutual respect. Gavin from the let's say creative genius behind Supervision. Let's not play ourselves. Creative genius.
I do appreciate it.
Let's definitely not play ourselves.
Yeah.
Yo, new album.
Few
Just
good
dropped.
things. Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, man. A few good things dropped February 4th. I'm looking at it. I see the peripheral that my face is right behind you. So don't let that startle you. Don't let it startle.
Face is over my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? I feel.
Come on, man. Hey, somebody got to watch your back. You know.
I
what I'm saying?
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, the album. I've had a number of I've listened for the past couple of days. Very introspective, very vulnerable. I think you touched on every emotion. Like I think I hear anger, frustration, but the thing that sticks out the most is just is transparency, the vulnerability and the transparency, which we need more of in art. Just period, came through.
Right.
And I think that hip hop as a whole should actually be appreciative of guys like you. Like we need to embrace guys like you. We need to hold you up because it's a whole bunch of bullshit out right now. I'm just keep it $100. But we need to embrace you. Like, and this has been consistent. You've been consistent. Like your trajectory and all the and like the whole narrative has never changed. And that's what I appreciate about you. Like we met a couple of years back, right. Me and the whole crew. Y'all can't see her, but manager extraordinaire out here. We met a couple of years back, and I don't want to say I attempted to sign you. I attempted to collaborate with you. Didn't work out the way I intended, or the way we sometimes intend things, but the relationship that's been established and the trust and the respect means way more to me than us doing whatever kind of business together. And the same with Gavin. Like me and Gavin have known each other for many moons.
Right.
And same with Chief. Like that's why like these conversations are like so important, is because like it's authentic. I like the authenticness of it. But again, let's get back to the album. Tell me about the album. Tell me about all the emotion, or tell us about album and all the emotions that you touched on.
Yeah, I think everything you said to me, I appreciate it for one, but two, I just say when it comes to the state of hip hop, making emotional music, being vulnerable and transparent, to me it's all of those things, yes, but it's the most important thing is, I think you touched on, is like just the honesty of it, the authenticity of it. Like sometimes it's hard to get in front of a microphone and talk to millions of people as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of artists sometimes invent characters to sell. You sell the character. And for me, I never had a good character, you know? I was just Taj, you know what I'm saying? I was just myself. So when I get into the studio and it's just me. It's just me. I arrive as me. I walk in rooms as me. And that's something that is...
It's rare right now.
It's rare right
it's
now.
Rare.
Mm-hmm. But
and
I think
all mediums, not just in music.
Yeah.
Like it is very rare for people to walk in the room as themselves, and as things begin to expand, the narrative begins to expand, for them to stay themselves.
Yeah.
Gavin.
Yeah.
You've been consistent. Like you are LA's like your flag's always been in the ground about the human condition, your love for music, your love for community, which is also how you guys came together, and I'll let y'all elaborate on that.
Yeah.
But like, let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about authenticity, because that's important to you.
Yeah. I mean, that on a larger scale and just like a surefire key to life is just keep it 1,000, you know, always be yourself. You know what I mean? I think that, and if I could say anything about anything I create, you know, anybody that I choose to work with, it's always rooted in, is this really me? Does this feel good? Is this something that I would want to do? Is this person aligning with me in that sense? Like, are they being themselves? You know, speaking to that point in that like the conversation, we also have a collaboration on Saba's album merch. And so even how that came about, you know what I mean? So like a lot of people like the brand, a lot of people are into Supervision, you know, but the way it came about was like, I actually started seeing him wear it a lot, and he had one of our sweatshirts. That alone tells me like bro is into it, you know what I mean? And it was a statement sweatshirt too. It wasn't just like a logo, it was a statement. So he aligned with the ethos of what we represent, you know what I mean? And then just again, doubling back and kind of doing my back sort of research on bro, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. I saw the same thing. Like he's been consistent, he's been authentic, he's been himself, you know? And so to that point, like, it wasn't a reach. It was a super easy conversation. His friend of mine had come through a couple of times and was super cool as well. And so I was like, all right, cool. Two equally yoked individuals. Like this not a fluke.
That's
you know
my favorite part about this collab is that like it's so organic. Like I just happened to, like, my homie was in town.
Yeah.
So he's like super like fashionable, studying design, all of that shit. So of course he's hip on y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, shit, what you on? He like, oh, I'm at the homie spot. I'm at Supervision Slide. That was the first time I had encountered the brand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just having that, like, man, the way, like, it was just like, oh, this is something special. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I don't know. I'm just really appreciative of a moment like that, because that's what it takes for collabs like this to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just got to be organic, and everybody got to be comfortable. And I feel like the word that keep getting brought back to is authentic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's something you could recognize in other people and other art. You know what I'm saying? You could see it. You could feel it, rather.
Sure. Yeah. And it's sustainable, right? It's like you said, how long we know each other? A long time.
Authenticity is sustainable.
Right. It's sustainable.
It's nothing you have to work at.
It's a bar.
Yeah. You don't have to work at it.
Nah, you
right?
can do this forever. We can do this forever, all day. You know what I mean?
That's my favorite part about making music. My bad.
Yeah, no. I think just talking about that. So what, you know, you guys both being in the game. Like, I don't know exactly when you started music early, not early 2000s, but like
early 2000s. Yeah.
All right, so first producing, correct?
Yeah.
Producing.
That was probably
Gavin.
like 2003.
I've known Gavin for many years. I think I met his brother before I even met Gavin. But
Fred, what's up, Fred?
What keeps you guys pushing, and keeping that longevity, but sticking to your authentic self, even if it takes longer sometimes to get from point A to point B, because so many people abandon their real vision because they're chasing something, because they're like, you know what, this is taking too long. So what is it internally that can keep your motor running to make sure that you stay true to yourself on the journey of whatever your muse is?
Yeah. For me, I'll say two things. One, intuition. Certain shit just don't feel right. Mm-hmm. And when some shit don't feel right, because it's a feeling. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it might be only you that feel that. But I feel like throughout my life, I've been a pretty intuitive person. Not to say I ain't never made a wrong decision or nothing like that, but I've been pretty intuitive, as it comes to relationships, as it comes to people. Like, the people that are around me, and we're a super close-knit group. But, a lot of times when it's like you're around somebody, like, because that's what everything comes down to, is relationships with people.
Yeah.
Art is a relationship with people. Business is relationship with people. Relationships with people is like the most important thing. So I think one, just having a good gauge and trying to incorporate myself and collaborate and be a part of just being around good people. So one, I think making decisions like that, and two, I don't know. I think still looking at art as self-expression. Wow. It gets really easy for art to become your job when you're getting paid for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it's like, when you're paying for your rent off of whether you can express yourself in that moment correctly, it changes your relationship to yourself. And I think to the music, yeah, but I think to yourself is what's,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you look at music is so much a part of who we are. If that relationship changes, then I think yourself, you change. Your
thought on that?
Nah, I agree. I mean, look, it's the self-reflection moments, to answer your question, Chief, is really the moments that keep me going. You know what I mean? Because it's like I gotta check in with myself every morning. You know what I mean? And really like double back, like, do I feel good about this choice? Do I feel good about this relationship? Do I feel good about this collaboration? Like, if I don't feel good about these things, I wake up and I feel it in my gut. And I really have to I follow my gut about really everything, And so, I've given out a lot of more no's than I have yeses, really just based on my gut feeling. And 9 times out of 10, I was right. You know what I mean?
Listen, discernment.
Yeah.
Discernment will cut out a lot of wasted time. Mm-hmm. Like the practice of discernment, discerning, will cut out a lot of wasted time. Yeah. Right? Because like there's that feeling in your gut where you're like, yo, this is not, I see what's in front of me, but what's 2 miles behind it is scary.
Hazy.
Right? Yeah, right?
Hazy. I can't really
I can't, it's hazy. So therefore, like, I'm like, gotta make that pivot. You know what I mean? And so the practice of discernment is like so important. Intuitiveness, discernment, whatever you want to call it, going with your gut.
Yeah.
Because it stops a lot of time from being wasted.
And to pick up what Saba said about staying connected to yourself in a relationship.
One more time, who?
I said to double back onto what Saba said about staying in relationship with yourself and then connecting with yourself. When you are aware of that gut feeling, when you are in connection with yourself, when you are in relationship with yourself, you don't miss any opportunities. You only create opportunities. You know what I mean? Because the no is that's you choosing. Like, I don't feel this. I feel that. It's like we creatives for a reason. We not opportunists. We creatives. You feel what I'm saying? So to that sustainability point, like we could do this all day. If I don't have a meeting a day, I'm gonna for sure create something today. If I don't have no meetings, if I don't have nothing, I'm gonna create something. I'm gonna be with my kids. I'm gonna do the things that I know is me. And then outside of that, it's like everything else is cherry on top. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Saba's gonna for sure, at the very least, he can make some music today. You know what I mean?
At the very least.
At the very least, he can make some music, and that's what he enjoys doing. So it's like, you know, again, staying connected to yourself and making them choices, you're gonna be on the right path.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, right? Like in this moment, I'm going through a personal, professional kind of a transition, right? And so initially, I was very, I want to say manic is probably the right word. Very manic, very just a lot of anxiety. But then more recently, as I begin to, this time that I've had as I'm making this transition has created actually a calm in me and a more self-awareness. And I'm more steeped now than ever in my confidence. Like I know what it is. Like I know what it is. Like I actually don't feel any angst. You know what I'm saying? There's still, listen, don't get me wrong. There's still moments because I'm human where I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
But for the most part, right now, my energy is just like, everything is coming how it should.
I feel like that's the confidence you get when you give yourself to something. When you like, because I know win, lose, or go home, I made the decision that I wanted to make, and I gave myself
win, lose, or go home.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel like when I'm thinking about the album and rolling the album out. Like I'm so confident in it because I know I gave everything I could. So if somebody hears it and doesn't like it, you probably wouldn't like me as a person. That's not.
My story's not for you.
It's not for you.
It's not for you.
That's the part that I be having to remember as a fan. Like to remove myself from the art and just look at it as a fan. I'm not a fan of everything and everybody. Some people's stories, like, I don't relate to it or something like that. And it's no different, you know, my way. And that it'll have you so confident where you just wake up ready to take on the world. Cause it's like, I know who I am and I know I'm giving myself to this shit.
And that, look, somebody broke it down real simple for me one time. They said the root word of relationship is relate.
The root word of relationship, one more time.
The root word of relationship is relate.
Bars. Relate.
So if you not being your authentic self, all those relationships Saba was referencing about relationship in business, relationship in friendship, relationship in art, it's not gonna connect. There's no relation.
Right.
Because I'm not even being me. You know what I mean? If I'm being my 100% self, anything that I'm attracting is gonna be right.
Yeah, it's all in line.
And anything that's not attracting is not for me. Like you said, you don't get my music because we don't relate.
And that's across everything in life. We have to get to a place where we recognize everything's not for me and it's okay. Yeah. Like I can't chase everything, because if not, you will constantly find yourself having FOMO, right?
Right.
Like I gotta have this, I gotta be over there because somebody said I needed to be over there. I need to be here because, like, right now in LA, right? I'm a diehard sports fan. You would agree? I'm a real fucking sports.
I mean, you root
right?
for a bunch of terrible teams, but I'll agree with you.
We're gonna get back to that. But my point is like LA, you know, we're hosting the Super Bowl this week. I find that we have far more people in Los Angeles that just want to be on the gram and be like, I'm at the game. Motherfuckers not even gonna watch the game. Right? Like, I'm gonna go watch the game. So I say this to say, like, there's a lot of people that are also not gonna get a ticket and they're gonna feel away. And it's not because they enjoy sports. It's not because they they know who Jalen Ramsey is, or they know who Aaron Donald is, or they know who Joe Burrow is. You know what I'm saying? It's just the thing to do. Like, I need a ticket. If I don't get a ticket, I'm oh my God, what is it saying about me? It's in LA.
That's one of the, I feel like that's something that we got from the internet though. Yeah. That's some internet shit.
That's some whole energy though.
I had this conversation with myself. I always kind of purge my Instagram, like who I'm following and everything, because you really have to double check, like, who are your references, right? Who are your, I don't say idols, but who are the people that you're looking at on social media every day, and how are they living, right?
Right.
If you following Puff, you might think that you need to be doing at every scene, drinking Ciroc. You might think all these things, and I love Puff, but like, as a young creative, person who's doing a lot of different projects, I don't necessarily have to be a hip hop mogul, you know what I mean? Right. And that's not for me. I'm not also not Virgil, you know what I mean? Right. I might like things about him, but I also might say I want to do this different, right?
Right.
What's true to me? So we have these archetypes of like characters that we've seen, right? We have these archetypes of like, all right, this is a rapper. And if you follow 10 rappers, you can be like, oh, I'm supposed to do it like that.
Right. I got to do it this way.
But at the end of the day, it's like, man, I'm at the house. You know what I mean? Puff is out and I'm at the house. You know,
I got kids.
So Virgil's DJing and I'm not.
Talking about those things,
kids.
As an artist, creatives, did you ever, like, in the points of your career, were there points that you felt like, I need not chase something, but I need to switch it up? Did you feel like any anxiety, like things aren't moving at the pace? Maybe I'm not doing, maybe I should do something different. Maybe I should,
for sure.
On the record, I think 2012, you talk about social anxiety. And as artists, like, I think we all have a kind of a timeline in our mind where we should be at certain markers. Like, talk about some of those moments where you maybe have felt that and you're like, should I pivot to something else? No pun intended. But like being in that, because I know I've felt that before, like, you're working so hard. And for me, I've always been kind of on the backside of things, like helping build other people's brands, and helping, relay messages of other people's words. And I've always kind of put myself on the back burner, and I think this what me and Malik are building right now is my coming out party and my, realization of like, I should be building on this. So let's talk about some of those moments where you might have felt like, am I doing the right thing? Do I need to switch it up? Is there other career paths? If you felt that.
I mean,
hold on. And I want to add something, especially coming from where you come from, when drill music, you had Chief Keef, you had Herbo, you had all of those guys, right? Yeah. And that was the cadence.
Right.
Did you, again, like Chief said, did you ever feel the need to be like, maybe I need to make a record like this?
Not really. I think it was based on what I grew up, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm my pops, my uncle, my big brother, like some hip hop dudes, man. So we grew up. I had, you know what I'm saying, all my uncle music, everything he was listening to. And what that told me was that it's room for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You got Tribe Called Quest, but you also got NWA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
yeah.
So I always grew up knowing that it didn't have to be one thing. But to that, I will say there have been moments where it's been like, damn, I need to do it this way. But most of that has been production choices.
Okay.
Like, I never thought
sonically.
Really, yeah, sonically.
Okay.
Sonically, I never really thought much about like, I need to be a gangster rapper or some shit like that. I'm not a fucking gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to get my ass beat on World Star. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not attracting that. I'm not putting that out there, like, because that's not what we own.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know what I'm saying? We still, because we not that don't mean we, you know.
Yeah. So being independent, does that take a little less, do you feel like it's less pressure on you to be on a timeline to release certain music?
It's
or like
honestly more pressure to me. It's more pressure because it's up to you to decide when. Like if some shit goes wrong, you can't look at nobody and blame them. You know what I'm saying? Like at least in a major system.
Yeah, you'd be like, the product manager fucked up. You know what I'm saying? The A&R fucked up.
But you have a product manager and an A&R. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody.
I mean? Like, but you got this whole conglomerate to hide behind.
Yeah, you got that conglomerate to hide behind and also technically succeed behind. You know what I'm saying? Like you got people on you. We need this by this date. We need this by this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We on
now
your
you just got Christella on your shit. She on your head.
Christella, I mean, Christella on the same type of time that I'm on. Okay. You know what I'm saying? We move when it's time to move.
That's what I love. You know? And that's why y'all work. That's why y'all work.
Yeah. Now right? I was gonna ask Gav because essentially like you're a flourishing, growing brand, but you're still independent in a sense. Like what was the journey? I don't even really know if we ever talked about like how did you get into like fashion in a sense. I know your brother. I know the kind of ethos and ecosystem we all grew up in, but what year and then what was the real like starting point and motivation behind SUPERVSN?
Man, so to answer that question, how I got into fashion, just real briefly, like I was 15 years old, hand screen printing t-shirts in the backyard of my grandmother's house, you know what I mean? And in South Central, like drying them in the oven, you know what I mean? Type shit. So
can we get an exact address on your grandma's house?
Fuck no, because my mama still lived there. Hell no. Hell no. This is in the 30s. So look.
Okay, I just want an exact address. Yeah. I want to give people context.
But fast forward, to answer your question, like my connection to fashion is really more of a connection to like people and storytelling, right? Like to answer your question, I wouldn't even till this day say I'm a fashion person. I like making products, but more than that, I like telling stories and connecting to people. You know what I mean? I like building things that people can relate to. And so what sparked me to really inspire me to create SUPERVSN was I was not just doing my own thing, but also creative directing and designing for other people, right? I was the guy behind the scene making everybody else crack, right? Or making their brand look dope. And I was like, man, like at the end of the day, there's a lot more of us than there are of them. You know what I mean? There's a lot more people behind the scenes that are making things happen that need something to relate to. So SUPERVSN really was for the creators. It was really for the people behind the scenes that just want to connect to their inner self and like make art, and create what they do, And so to answer your question again, it's like I'm connecting to me as a creator. Yeah. I'm not necessarily making music. But if I wanted to try, I might get that feeling out for the day and go on to the next thing.
Got it.
And I love what you guys are doing, and I'm so proud of y'all because this is y'all. Me and Malik been talking.
Church.
We talk.
Church.
Me and Malik talking. We don't get to talk that often, but me and Malik get on the phone and talk a lot. And it's like that you're supposed to be on a microphone, Malik. You know what I mean? Chief, same thing. You've been a facilitator of the culture and everything. You're supposed to connect people and help produce things that you can also be a part of and have ownership over, and in a way that you can be proud of and say like, this is me, this is my thing, this is the thing we're all contributing to, and I say that in the most like uplifting way because same thing with Saba. Like I was Saba. I am Saba. You know what I mean? I'm like the guys who we kept it 1,000. So true to ourselves that it took us a lot longer to get from point A to point B. Everybody else took the fast track. We kept it 1,000. Like Nip would say, we took the stairs to get there. Y'all went on the elevator. We took the stairs. But we so much happier with ourselves at this point.
And to the point, when you are truly aligned with yourself early on, and you don't even realize that's what it is that it's an alignment, right? That alignment and that intuitiveness, people will say, oh, you're early. Like that's what I've been known for, to be early on things, right? So I'm going to talk about a record label that I used to work at. You know, no disrespect, but I was at Epic Records at one time as the vice president of A&R. Brought in this young girl, right? Brought her in multiple times. And the chairman at the time said to me, because they used to have like people perform in the boardroom, like these kind of like on the spot performances. And I'm like, first of all, this is not the environment. Like, you should see her at a show. We should, you know what I'm saying? We should go to the studio and listen to records.
Yeah.
We should listen to the collective creative community, the people that actually, that matter, that signal something, right? And if you do all those things, you'll get it. So he was like, nah, she didn't take my money today. I brought her back again. She didn't take my money today. I saw him, the chairman of the company, literally like 2 weeks ago. You were right about Doja Cat.
Yeah, of course.
That was in 2012.
Yeah.
Doja Cat, right now, that was in 2012.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it a buck.
Yeah. Because you one of us.
Giveon.
Yeah.
That was like 2017. I brought him to SB Projects. He was like sitting in my office every day.
Yeah.
So I say all this to say, like, we had to, when I got out of asking, I didn't want to ask anymore and someone be able to tell me no, like I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like someone telling you, yo, I know those 12 records that you created. Scrap 6 of those because they're not commercially going to reach the people that I want to reach. Same thing with you. Like Chief, I just feel like he had such a and has such a hold on the culture, like fashion, and his ability to connect people, and everybody likes him. I don't know why, but everybody likes him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And everybody likes dude. I'm like, yo, it's time for us. And we collectively came to this thing of like you're saying, yo, let's just go do something for us.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, I'm gonna be comfortable with it.
For sure.
Because it's us.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with, you know, us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't make the final shot. We don't cross the 5-yard line into the end zone. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Cherry cola, that Bud Light Seltzer, hard soda,
Yep.
pre-game ritual.
That's your one, huh?
That's my thing. Whether I'm going to the game or I'm going to barbecue with the fam,
Yeah.
that is a necessity.
All right. I got to try that one. But for me, though, it's from the retro tie-dye variety pack, the cherry limeade. Stop playing with me. It's sweet. Got the cherry taste. Got a little bit of hint of the lime, too. Just all the things that I like. We going to the festival. I'm popping open the trunk. The best part about it is there's no beer in it. I'm not a beer drinker, so for me, it works out perfectly. Just a great tasting seltzer. A bunch of flavors. They got the classic cola. They got the cherry cola, the orange soda, the citrus soda. For me, it's the citrus soda. But which one you rocking with?
Man, it's a classic cola. I actually like to use it as a mixer, especially when I'm out with the homies in the RVs on the beach during the summer.
That's what's up. That sounds like a real summertime vibe. With the Bud Light Seltzer hard soda, in the summertime, for me, it's barbecuing and watching the fight. Best ways for me to enjoy and kick back and have a good time.
That's right. To find a retailer who delivers right to your door, head over to BudLight.com to learn more. Bud Light Seltzer, the loudest flavors ever. Enjoy responsibly. Messaging for the 21 and over.
And the doors just begin to open up after that.
Yeah.
You
Actually,
just see the universe fall in place and the doors just open
yo,
up.
doors is opening like a motherfucker right now.
Yeah, and I think the creative, you know, for all of us, I'm sure the creative outlet helps with whatever insecurities we have, because everybody deals with insecurities, you know what I mean? And I know for me personally, like playing the background was always like my way of just kind of floating. Like people know I'm there, but I never wanted to be the loud one in the room or the one that took accolades for something. But then you get to a point you're like, I done did some dope shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, so
I should be a rapper now.
again, like, you know, the same thing with all y'all. And you know, I wanted to ask you, Sab, like, you got so many dope, some crazy bars on the album. What's some of your favorite joints? One that resonates with me when you said, I learned my colors.
That's the one I was gonna say too. That whole song I had to rap for real because Black Thought.
Black Thought. That's another one too. Like, I love your
Black
your
Thought
balance
went
of,
insane.
artists, and I know you're a younger cat, but I think that's what makes, you know, kind of the beautiful poetry that make you could tell your influences are very, very long and extreme to have somebody like, and that's one of my favorite records on the album. The transitions of the music, but some of the things you said hold so much weight. Like, you learned colors, but then you had the colors that you wore. You know what I mean? Like, you had to be cognizant of that. And people, that might go over people's head, but that's even talking about like where you're from in the city. Like you said, one foot you in the suburbs, next block over you in the hood, and you've dealt with that too before. But those are the kind of things that shape you. And like, you know, what are some of your favorite bars, or do you have a favorite record on the album? I know it's like asking if you have a favorite kid, if you have kids, but like, you know.
Right. I think that's a good one that you picked. In the bars, I learned my colors, then I had to watch what color shirt I had. Mm-hmm. That one is my favorite lines of myself. And actually not even just limited to myself, but my favorite lines in general. When you can say a lot by saying a little. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a line that is like, it's like, oh shit, that means a lot more than what those words say. So like, writing wise, I think, you know, when you can have just like nuanced material that you got to actually like, it's not necessarily even a punchline or anything like that, but it's like, you feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still feel it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, when I think of a lot of my favorite lines by just artists in general, it's like the simplest shit.
Right. The ones that make you just reflect on
where it's
so
just
much.
like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And then another one I wanted to ask, and this is for everybody. You talk about like bad things come in threes, right? Yeah. I feel like do you really believe that? And if so, what are three things that kind of rocked your world? And then how did you navigate those? And this is for everybody, because I know we've all had those moments, but if you could talk about some of those things that made you even make that bar such a prevalent thing.
Yeah. I think for me, writing that was based on the cliche, like the superstition of it. Like, that's something that I just always heard growing up. Like, when people passed
in threes, right?
I always heard that people pass in threes. So that's more so what that meant to me.
Okay.
And then because the album, you know, I knew when I was writing that, I knew the album was Few Good Things.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to flip it and turn a bad situation good. The same way the last, we turned a bunch of nothing to abundance. Like, throughout the album, I kind of wanted to have lines like that, where you take the negative and like find the positive in it. Cause I feel like that's what we in Chicago, but low key, that's what we throughout the world have had to kind of do. You know what I'm saying? For any situation, you know what I'm saying? Growing up and shit like that. So to get into three things would be, I think, a lot, and it would get real dark.
Yeah.
But
all right, let's talk about
I had a lot of adversity. You know, thus far in my career, navigating. I think for me, now this is how you can take the negative and turn it positive. For me, navigating all of the fucking hardships that we've had to face has been solely based in community. You know what I'm saying? That's when all of my relationships that I've worked on building, that's when they are put to the test. That's when you really are able to fall on the people that help to make you who you are. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, you know, negative situations, like bad things happening, it could be loss, it could be death, it could be anything, that always brings people close. It brings people close together. And I feel like, you know, it's unfortunate with our situation, but it's like we didn't lost so many people. We like this now.
Yeah.
We can't get no closer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just kind of it makes it so that you could be in a room with people and you know what they're thinking before you even speak. You know what I'm saying? It's like an unspoken language amongst a lot of people in Chicago and period, just based on the shit that they had to go through. Yeah. It's an unspoken language. So I think that would be how I feel like you navigate certain adversity. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, I know these people, I'm understood. I don't got to explain as much because these people know exactly. There's no, you know what I'm saying? You walk in the room, what's wrong, bro? You don't got to do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's people who understand, they talk your language. And I think when I even think about my fan base, a lot of times it's unspoken. You know what I'm saying? Like when we do the meet and greets and shit like that, it's like sometimes motherfuckers just silent. But it's like it's unspoken. It's right there. You know what I'm saying?
Shifting energy.
Yeah. Right.
What about you, Gav?
Man, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, and really around that, the question about bad things come in threes. Like, I really, for a while, kind of struggled with finding the beauty in certain losses, you know, and really struggled with, like, especially death, right? Like, you know, I won't, again, try to get too far into that because it could get dark, but lost, you know, 3 or 4 actually really close, like a parent and other really close people to me in a matter of 6 months, you know? And so, but I mean, imagine wrapping your head around like that being the hardest, but most like eye-opening and, you know, teaching moment in your life. You know what I mean? Like imagine the one of your greatest losses, your greatest lesson, right? Like, and imagine you trying to find like a gratitude in that. Imagine trying to find gratitude in your greatest loss. You feel guilty. You like, man, how can I explain this to anybody? Yo, like, don't look at me like I'm crazy.
I called Gavin the other day about gratitude, literally. This was really the conversation. I called him and we were talking about obviously him appearing here, but because we are dear friends, we were having a conversation about something personal to me. And I just was, you know, I was venting, and he said something to me that helped me immensely. And he said, listen, Malik, you have to the gratitude part of it, I'm grounded in that. But he also said, you have to live in faith and not in fear, because we're always trying to, whether we would know it or not, we want to see around the corner. We want to know what's happening at the end of the movie. We want to know the outcome to the end of the game. That's why it's easier to watch the game on replay, because I already know what happened. I'm like, I ain't got no anxiety no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's not real life, right? That's not real life. And so I say all this to say, like, these experiences and these moments that we go through, while very challenging, while extremely challenging, prepares us for the next part of the journey, the evolution. And so for that, we have to stay in gratitude, because it's just, it's a lesson. And at the time, it doesn't feel right. And when someone's saying that to you, it feels kind of like, yo, look, motherfucker, I don't want to hear that right now. Right. Yeah. This is what's going on in my crib, and it's heartbreaking. Or, you know, I'm losing someone. I lost someone. I don't want to hear that right now. Oh, they lived there. They did what they were doing. You know, you know what I mean? All those kind of things. Like, so I'm saying all this to say I've been constantly lately on the journey of kind of like dusting off things. Once I go through those emotions, I'm dusting off. And like the big sign that's left is gratitude. You know what I mean? Like when you dust your gratitude, you got to stay in that.
You have to be grateful for the bad as much as you are the good, you know, because the bad can come with lessons if you really open your heart to it. And I'll kind of bring a thought to you all that helped me a lot was the ironic connection between the two meanings of the word appreciation, right? on one end, appreciation means to be thankful for something. But on another end, appreciation means to rise in value, like a home, right? So when I'm thankful for the people around me, I'm absorbing them and I'm thankful for what they bring to me in my life. But when a home appreciates the things that are around it and it rises in value, right? It appreciates the community, it appreciates the park that's built across the street, it appreciates the good schooling in the area. So to be thankful allows you to absorb the benefits of things and to rise in value. You know what I mean?
Hey, this nigga got bars, bro.
Bars,
Y'all hear him? He say relationship. He say appreciation. No, that's
Honestly,
hard.
I'm
That's
trying to
hard.
share these, right?
That's hard.
Like,
That's hard.
Nah, I think the most exciting thing about this journey that we're on now is just being able to sit down with people that we love and respect. But also it's a learning thing, man. Like I'm a proponent. Like I just love learning and I love hearing people's stories and then also too like being able to tangibly take those things and apply them to my life.
Apply it.
Me as a father and me as a businessman and those kind of things. So again, I appreciate you guys, immensely. I want to ask like what's next? You know what I mean? The album's out. I see everybody's lifting the mask mandates. You hitting tour soon. Like what we got cooking the next like 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months. Well, the immediate what's next is tour.
Okay.
It's tour. We got so much Pivot Gang music right now. So much Pivot Gang music. So that's the immediate question. It's like we've been trying to get my album out the way. My album is out the way. So now we could jump into, building up everybody, building up because I got, my two things that is authenticity and community. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, all right, we got one. What about the rest of the guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I feel like, where I want to start putting my time. And I'm trying to produce more for like other people. Like,
okay. Yeah.
So those are my immediate goals for for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Man,
let's talk about this crew neck you got on right now first. Let's start with that.
Yeah. Well, as it currently stands, we just released a collaborations, Saba, A Few Good Things album and SUPERVSN collaboration. This is actually a collaboration with the great folks over at Union, Los Angeles.
That's right. Talk your shit, Gav.
It's not out yet.
Gav.
I give y'all a little glimpse.
Early.
This not out yet.
Early.
Super early.
Give y'all a glimpse. But again, to Saba's point, just continue to just work with my community, continue to uplift people like Saba.
Let me look at this dude real quick. I think we got some merch coming out.
Yeah. To that point too, we did do a special colorway and collab piece for Sweet Life and for
let's talk about that merch piece though. No, seriously.
Yeah.
The slogan. Let's talk about that. Because it's important right now.
The slogan says pressure bust pipes and turns black kids into superheroes. And I think all four of us sitting up here are a perfect example of that.
Perfect.
I think we've all been faced with a lot of adversity at times, challenges, resistance that just comes with being who we are, but look at us now, we're on the mic. We're here on Sunset Boulevard, in Los Angeles, California, just shining our light, and hoping to inspire others, So I was super happy to do that with y'all as well, just because of how proud I am of you two for doing this thing and being your own superheroes to the people that look up to you. And I think again, like I myself want to continue to just align with genuine people like that are shining their light and just continue to uplift and it's not rooted in hype. It's not rooted in social media following. It's rooted in authenticity. How long I've known you, we've been keeping it 1,000. Let's do something together. And so that's going to continue to be me to answer your question about what's next. You know what I mean?
Love it.
I think listen. My prayer always is for us to just like stay rooted in us and to put myself around people that have context for me, because I think that's also super important, right? Because if someone doesn't have context for you, they can, something very small and minuscule, something that can be a conversation can grow into a different narrative just because someone is like, oh, that's just Malik. He's not tripping. Or that's Gav, or that's Chief, Saba. We not tripping. You know what I mean? So like, I'm very focused on being involved with people who are aligned with their purpose and aligned with their sweet spot, so to speak. Because in those people, as they are, unpacking things and becoming the better version of themselves, and you're becoming the better version of yourself, the only thing that can happen is magic. Because everybody is sincerely on the same path. So that speaks to us in this forum today. Like, I appreciate the two of y'all, like real brothers. Like, this dude, like he knows. Like, he came into the office and I was just like, I started following him around. I went to Austin, Texas. Like, he was doing a show in Austin, Texas. We had talked like 2 days before, and I was like, I'm going to Austin, Texas. And then he was doing somewhere else. But it wasn't because of anybody else was chasing him. I didn't care about that. It was just rooted in the fact that I loved it, and I thought that it should have a huge platform. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's what we got to, that's how we change a lot of things that are happening right now. Like, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent, but like when we see what's happening in the NFL, right? With Brian Flores, that coach, we're all like, oh, how can this happen to this guy? And oh my God, look at the disparaging numbers between Black coaches or minority coaches and blah, blah, blah. But it's all because we don't have a stake. We don't have a firm footprint. So I think we got to figure out collectively how to develop a firm footprint. And we can only do that together. Only the numbers will allow us to. Because Fortune 500 companies, the NFL, they don't look like us. And you're not going to mandate the old boy network. So we just got to do the work, and we got to do it together and collaboratively so that we can change these conversations.
For sure. 100%.
Change comes collaboratively. There's no single one person, no single one thing. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It's a collaborative thing. So that's the path I'm on, is like, and I think that we're on is we just want to help everybody find their sweet spot. And in that, we can align and look at each other as brothers and fellowship together and with gratitude and help create bigger things to go tackle.
For each other too.
Huh?
Create opportunities for
that's what we're talking. Real opportunities.
Absolutely.
Real opportunities.
Absolutely.
Love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for being here.
Before we bounce too, I just want to know, like, what's downtime look like for y'all? I know Gav got the family. So like anybody games.
That's uptime. Kids have me up. No. Downtime, honestly, bro, I'm chilling. I'm probably eating somewhere, or I'm at the house. I like to go out to eat, to dinner, I'm with the kids. I'm with my boys, I'm with the homies. We just kicking it, like watch a game, go eat some food. Really keep it light. Enjoy like the fruits of the labor, and just like be there. Not really not chasing anything,
Nothing. They chasing, I'm going the other way. The moment that they go that way, I'm like, I'm going this way. I'm going somewhere else. Super Bowl week. I know you ain't. I don't want to say I know.
No, I'm a basketball guy, man.
Okay. So let's talk about the
for
Bulls.
The Rams.
Let's talk
about the Bulls.
I'm going for the Rams.
The Rams all day.
Shout out to homie Jalen.
Shout out to homie Jalen. DR.
MC.
Yeah, are you LA across the board for sports?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Chicago across the
that
board?
mean you a Laker fan?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
he is.
man.
No
Whoa,
hesitation.
whoa.
He
hold on.
I think that's
feel a
interesting.
disturbance
man,
in the
because I was
force.
talking to Malik,
Let's
and I was
talk
like, we
about
got to get Russ on the show because I feel like this man has been beat up over the past couple months, you know, based on like his play, which is uncharacteristic, but you know, it's crazy to see the Lakers struggling like this, man. Like,
Yo, Chief like to see the Lakers
I
struggling.
would
Don't
say-
let him front.
I would say he been beat up like this, like it just in terms of
Years.
story for years. Like even when he was playing amazing,
yeah,
the story around him was still like,
yeah.
you know, it was like really pretty much demeaning to him. So I don't know. It's a rough spot, but you know the NBA, I feel like sometimes when that story around you is created,
yeah.
they want to see this.
They want to.
You know,
They're gonna keep that narrative going
it's
forever.
the narrative.
It's like James Harden. He just got traded again today.
I
Wait,
just
James
see-
Harden got traded?
He's on the Sixers
Ben
now.
Simmons
And Ben Simmons is in New Jersey.
Yes.
Oh, we got
Brooklyn
action.
now, right?
It is Brooklyn, by the way. It ain't New Jersey.
Oh, Brooklyn. Sorry.
And look,
Get his drink away from him.
Take the guy's drink away. Cut me
bring
off.
it back to Russ real quick because we're not finna.
We not
The
finna
world
do
not
Russ.
finna dog my guy like that.
Yeah.
At all.
If you from LA, you watch Russ at UCLA,
Yeah.
and you've known him ever since then.
But
It's not another person in this game that gives 110,000%. Like we not finna do my
I
guy
love
like that.
when they
Win, lose, or draw.
when they asked him about like being a champion, and they was like trying to make it seem like his career was a dud and he was a failure. and shit,
Yeah,
and
like
he's
this man the
nah,
most.
I've been
I don't gotta.
been a champion.
Yeah, I've been doing
and
that.
that was the bro, that was the realest shit.
Listen,
So
bro.
the Bulls are
You don't
good
earn- you don't
again.
get to earn
We-
nothing.
It's good to see the Bulls good again,
Come
right?
on, man, we've been waiting, man.
I'm a Bears. I'm a Chicago sports fan.
Are
You
you?
know, the Bears are my team. They've been horrible for years.
Yes, they suck.
The Bulls. I'm
Go
so
ahead.
glad that the Bulls are finally good again.
We
man.
needed that. We
I
needed
think-
that. We deserved that as a city
for sure.
to
for
have.
sure.
Just,
I mean, but what are we talking about? Y'all deserve. Y'all gonna win like 52 games and be bounced in the second round.
Hey,
of
you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make the playoffs this year, though.
hey, if we get bounced in the second round, that's a job well done.
Yeah.
Yo, you over there with the sneak
Baby
diss.
steps.
Sneak
Baby
this.
steps.
Come with the sneak diss.
Sneak this.
All
Baby
right.
steps.
Hey, listen
Yeah.
again. Love y'all. Yo, before we get out of here, hold on. There's I had to 2012 The Wave. Give me your favorite, hold on. Give me your favorite couple lines. Like you was in the studio and we in the studio right now. What's the lines?
On that song,
Yeah, I love that record. I need you to like get on the. I want you to feel like you on the LA Leakers podcast. Like snap.
Drop the beat.
well, that's. Let me just give a disclaimer that 2012, not the LA Leaker song. That's like
Yeah,
story time with your cup of tea.
yeah, no,
That's
yeah.
it.
I know, but I'm just
But
the bars. bro.
the line on that one would be, and it's just one line. I don't even gotta rhyme it with.
Yeah.
I said, my niggas that had each other back in the world against them, from a poverty-stricken parable that our hearts had written. Because it really felt like I was authoring some shit. And it was honest. It was from a poverty-stricken parable. Like it's like, that's the story, you know?
Yeah.
That's the story. And I don't know, when I knew I was getting off when I wrote that. I'm
Yeah.
like, now we getting into some whole story time shit. Like now we going from here to here.
That's great. Now you're destined for greatness, man. I feel like
appreciate
anytime
that.
I hear artists and I'll hear something and then weeks later the bar just pop up in my head and it makes you feel like, and I always talk about like that's why I can listen to I listen to a lot of like older stuff because it puts me in it like I'm almost there with them. You know what I mean? You listen to Nas or Jay or Calm or Ye or a lot of these artists and you feel like you really sit.
You was right there.
You know,
You
and
was
then
right
you
there.
say some things on a new album that make me feel like I'm your cousin and I'm on the block with you. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right,
and
right.
that's to me, that's the marker of a legendary artist. You know what I mean? For years, you could
appreciate
pop
that.
it in and be like, yo, I might have missed that line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
It feels like
again, man, flowers to both of y'all. I'm excited for
For both of
I
y'all.
ain't
Amazing
gonna say the
album,
future.
few
I'm
good
excited
things
for right
album.
now for y'all. We're gonna do this again and again.
And again,
Wrap our arms around each other and we're gonna keep moving. But I appreciate the time, man, and all love. All love.
appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all.